his bat, the crowd went wild because he knocked that ball a solid mile. Yeah, boy.
Yes, yes, Jackie hits that ball. Satchel Paige is mellow, so is Campanella, Newcomb and Dovey too. But it's a natural fact when Jackie comes to bat, the other team is through. Boy,
Hey, Jackie Robinson hit that ball. Did he hit it? Boy, and that ain't all. He's thrown home.
yes, yes, Jack is real gone.
All right, hello, my name is Brian Sinclair. I'm the Associate University Librarian for Public Services here at UNC Asheville. Excuse me a second, let me adjust this. On behalf of my colleagues in Ramsey Library and the Department of Music here at UNCA, I want to welcome you all to today's program celebrating the Negro Leagues. Before we begin, just one special thank you to Jesse Ray in the Chancellor's Office for popping for today's refreshments. Thank you, Jesse Ray. He's actually here. You will hear from him later in the program. At the conclusion of the program, my colleague Anita White-Carter, right here, will have some other special announcements and thank yous and would like to introduce you to some members of our community. I believe Daniel Meyer, music director and conductor of the Asheville Symphony, is here today, and he may have some words for us as well. But anyway, let's go on with the program, and I hope you can stay for those announcements at the end. The Negro Baseball Leagues. Sounds and voices of an era. Nothing is more American than baseball. But for many, historically, there have been two Americas and two baseballs, one white and one black.
Jim Crow's Last Stand by Langston Hughes. There was an old crow by the name of Jim. The white folks were in love with him. They liked him so well they couldn't stand for old Jim Crow to get out of hand. But something happened, Jim's feathers fell, and now that crow has begun to look like hell.
Yes, there were two Americas, two water fountains and restrooms, two bleacher sections of the same ballpark, two segregated schools and neighborhoods, two ways of navigating the world. Jim Crow separated us as Americans. During the height of the Jim Crow period, from 1890 to 1920, successful African-American baseball teams played on the fringes of America, outside of formal leagues. Teams such as the Indianapolis ABCs and the Lincoln Giants barnstormed the country, traveling to any town or city that promised fans and a little money. It was a grueling life, filled with numerous indignities. You really had to love the game to keep that up for long.
Your World by Georgia Douglas Johnson. Your world is as big as you make it. I know, for I used to abide in the narrowest nest in a corner, my wings pressing close to my side. But I sighted the distant horizon where the skyline encircled the sea, and I throbbed with a burning desire to travel this immensity. I battered the cordons around me and cradled my wings on the breeze, then soared to the utmost reaches with rapture, with power, with ease.
In honor of spring training, the UNC Asheville Big Band will play Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most.
I'm gonna go there over there.
Let's have another round of applause for Dr. David Wilkin and the UNC Asheville Big Band. In 1920, the segregation of baseball was formalized by the founding of the Negro National League. Now it was official. Black folks had their baseball, and white folks had theirs. The same was true in Asheville, like any other town in America. We had the Asheville tourists, and we had the Asheville black tourists. The black tourists are known to have played at McCormick Field in 1929, even attracting some white fans who sat in special reserved seats. The segregated Negro bleachers were down by the third baseline. Even years later, the story has it, black baseball players coming through Asheville were not allowed to stay in any of the city's fine hotels or resorts or dine at its downtown restaurants. Black athletes usually stayed at Rabbit's Motel down on McDowell Street or in a private home. Some of the greatest players to ever grace the field, black or white, came out of the period of the Negro Leagues during the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. Cool Papa Bell, Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige, and Jackie Robinson.
For Cool Papa Bell by Tom Dent. Hey, Cool Papa, I see picture of you in your latter years, tall, black skin withered, straight, proud. You must have been a streak of black gold, flashing around the bases like some great African warrior misplaced. It is said you scored from first on a bunt against the all-white Major League All-Stars. You were 40 summers then, and they wanted to know how you did it. Was it magic? Was it voodoo? Was it a freak of segregation? Was it special compensation for national mental inferiority in the labs of Stanford? Was it something that only happens in colored ball, a Saturday night mutation gone insane, in the white man's game? You must have been the genius black musician of Deho Sippy, carving his own instrument, so now, at 70, they parade you out from your job as janitor, St. Louis City Hall, and place you in the retroactive Hall of Fame. And forgive us if we don't cry, Cool Papa. Forgive us if we don't get excited. For you, with you, we share the night of that memory, those memories. All the bitter years and buried triumphs. Because you did it, man, and no one can take away bitter years, buried triumphs.
In black baseball, only Satchel Paige was a better-known personality than Josh Gibson. The 6'1", 205-pound strong man was the standard against whom others hitters were measured. A natural hitter, the right-handed slugger hit for both distance and average. Unfortunately, the major leagues were never afforded the opportunity to witness Josh Gibson's greatness because he died only a month after his 35th birthday, and just a few months prior to Jackie Robinson's becoming the first black major leaguer in over half a century. Gibson was elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1972. To Josh Gibson by George Mosby Jr. Black Knight, with Thor's hammer and your bat, I've heard how you blasted the hell out of the bullets from the rifle of Satch and the likes. If Grandpa still breathed, he'd swear that the blood in his flesh should freeze. If he were lying, saying, "Old Josh, now that was the biggest damn bat that ever lived," smiling all the while in his profession. He'd swear that ever when the babe reigned, he sat on the throne. 200 homers and some. A smaller king than you. Black Knight with Thor's hammer and your bat. And it's testimony that Grandpa's tongue was pure, like the serenade of a wooded stream.
Satchel Paige lived from 1906 to 1982. Satchel Paige was the nearest thing to a legend that ever came out of the Negro League. The tall, lanky right-hander pitcher paralyzed a pea-sized fastball, nimble wit, and a colorful personality into a household name. Satchel began his professional career in 1926 and continued playing with on many of the league teams until 1950. Satch, at the dubious age of 59, pitched 3 innings for the A's to become the oldest man to pitch in a major league game. This poem is called To Satch by Samuel Allen. The career of Satchel Paige, the legendary baseball pitcher, extended into 5 decades. The poem says, "Sometimes I feel like I will never stop, just go on forever. Till one fine morning, I'm gonna reach up and grab me a handful of stars, swing out my long, lean arms, my long, lean legs, and whip 3 hot strikes burning down the heavens, and look over a God and say, how about that?"
In addition to his great pitching, Satchel Paige was also known for his wisdom and great sayings. And I'll share some of them with you. You may have heard some before. Age is a case of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. Ain't no man can avoid being born average, but there ain't no man got to be common. How old would you be if you didn't know how old you are? And this is probably one of the most famous. Don't look back, something might be gaining on you. Work like you don't need money, love like you've never been hurt, dance like nobody's watching. Don't pray when it rains if you don't pray when the sun shines. I ain't ever had a job, I just always played baseball. I never threw an illegal pitch. The trouble is, once in a while I toss one that ain't never been seen by this generation. The only change is that baseball has turned Paige from a second-class citizen to a second-class immortal. Also, I thought it would be interesting to share the names of the teams in the Negro Baseball League. And there were 24 teams listed, although there may have been others that are not listed. And we'll start with the hat that I have on, the Atlanta Black Crackers. And you'll see some similarity in the names with the white teams. Baltimore Black Sox, Birmingham Black Barons, Chicago American Giants, Cleveland Buckeyes, Cuban Stars East, Detroit Stars, Indianapolis ABCs, Kansas City Monarchs, New York Black Yankees, Newark Eagles, Pittsburgh Crawfords, Austin Black Senators, Baltimore Elite Giants, Brooklyn Royal Giants, Cincinnati Tigers, Cleveland Cubs, Dayton Marcos, Homestead Grays, Indianapolis Clowns, Memphis Red Sox, New York Cubans, Philadelphia Stars, and the St. Louis Stars.
In 1947, a 28-year-old rookie player by the name of Jackie Robinson broke Major League Baseball's color barrier when he joined the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Jackie Robinson, January 31st, 1919 to October 24th, 1972. The Baseball Hall of Fame inducted Robinson in 1962. He was a member of 6 World Series teams, earned 6 consecutive All-Star Game nominations, and won several awards during his career. His uniform number, 42, was retired by Major League Baseball in 1997 to honor the 50th anniversary of his first Major League game. Jackie Robinson was also a forerunner of the Civil Rights Movement. In recognition of his accomplishments, both on and off the field, Robinson was posthumously awarded a Congressional Gold Medal and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. 42's Chance by Mark Schraff. He looks too black. Owners bristled. Whites will run scared from bleachers. He's all muscle-bound. Fellas sure, Class C at best. No legitimacy. He's not chosen one. Not before Satch, Josh, Cool Papa. Negro deity. He don't worry me. Dixie whistled. Long as he ain't no Dodger. He needed but one. Ricky provided. In taking his best, their worst, he whipped the darkness. So one-sided, our cringing, blanching need the first.
Jackie by Anonymous. He waited in the whiteness of the afternoon sun, black man on green ground. He waited in the silence of the tongue, black man on green ground. He waited in the path of his words, white broke his bones, black man on green ground. He waited as few men have ever waited, and endured before a multitude as no man before. Oh, to have conquered the white sun, blinding, to have sailed the sun and ridden its joy in tears and in laughter, to have ridden the white sun blinding, and to be struck by the rising of your own black sun. Your crown was white, and it waited.
Slowly, a number of former Negro League players joined the ranks with Jackie Robinson in the major leagues. Slowly, one's acumen on the diamond began to trump the color of one's skin. Chief among the African-American stars who changed baseball forever, Roy Campanella, Don Newcomb, Satchel Paige, Hank Aaron, and Willie Mays. African-American and white fans could now come together and root for their own hometown team. America still had a way to go. The civil rights movement was only just getting started, but the baseball diamond was beginning to give some Americans hope.
We're going to now play The Umpire Strikes Back. One, two, one, two, oh, 1, 2, 3.
I Too by Langston Hughes. I too sing American. I am the darker brother. They send me to the kitchen to eat when company comes. But I laugh, ha, and eat well and grow strong. For tomorrow, I will be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say, eat in the kitchen. Besides, they will see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. For I too am American.
First of all, let me thank our readers. You guys are great. And let's give it up one more time for this fabulous UNCA. Today's program is part of a week-long series of events celebrating the Negro Baseball Leagues. Planning for these events began with the Asheville Symphony Orchestra's announcement of its concert, Spring Training. The concert includes a performance of Pastime, a work based on the lives of Negro League ball players Josh Gibson, Hank Aaron, and Jackie Robinson. I am very, very pleased to introduce to you Mr. Daniel Meyer, music director and conductor of the Asheville Symphony Orchestra, who will give you a little more information about the performance.
Thank you. One of the pleasures of this weekend is that you'll also get to meet the composer of Pastime, Richard Danielpour, who is a white Jewish guy from Brooklyn. just like George Gershwin was, who really assimilated the music of African American culture and of African American America, and injected it into the lives of classical music lovers around the world. And I think Richard Danielpour is very much in that tradition of George Gershwin and of Leonard Bernstein, and composers who adopt the great American music and the great American traditions that we have and wove it into their own special language. And that's what you're going to hear this weekend. The poet Michael Harper wrote a poem called Blackjack, based on Jackie Robinson. And Richard Danielpour came across this poem, and Richard Danielpour himself is a baseball nut. He was a bat boy for the Yankees when he was a boy, and he got to meet some of his greatest heroes on the ball field itself. And he read this poem called Blackjack and got inspired to write an entire song cycle based on poems surrounding these great players from the Negro Leagues. The commission for this work was a co-commission between three orchestras: the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, the Brooklyn Philharmonic, and the Atlanta Symphony. So the three central movements of the work are based on three heroes from each of those cities. Josh Gibson played for the Homestead Grays and for the Pittsburgh Crawfords. And, of course, Jackie Robinson played for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And, of course, Hank Aaron played for the Atlanta Braves. So those constitute the three central movements. And by the way, there was only one poem written at the time, and Richard Danielpour called Michael Harper and said, "Would you write me some more baseball poems?" And Mr. Harper dragged his feet and really wasn't much of a response. And finally, Richard went to his desk, took a baseball out of his jacket and placed it on the desk in front of him and said, "Maybe this will give you a little help." And indeed it did. Within 2 weeks, Michael Harper had sent back 9 baseball poems, 9 complete baseball poems to Richard Danielpour, some based on just the experiences of these players as they traveled across the U.S. and dealt with segregation and dealt with the inequalities and injustices that existed throughout our country, and also just about the glory of the game and how amazing these baseball players were and how wonderful and how people really realized the talent that wasn't getting a chance to play in the major leagues. You may not know this, but the Negro Leagues had just as many white fans as African American fans, and even though the field was segregated, the stands were filled with all sorts of Americans who loved baseball and knew that these players deserved to get the spotlight that they should have had. And it really took Branch Rickey with the Brooklyn Dodgers to finally sign Jackie Robinson to a contract and break that color barrier in baseball. And I don't think it's a stretch to say that Jackie Robinson really was seminal in launching the civil rights movement in the United States. So it's interesting to think that baseball, the great American pastime, was one of the critical reasons why this movement happened when it did. And we finally got a groundswell of interest throughout the country for equal rights. So it's a fascinating piece. The beginning and the end is a prologue. Some of it is celebratory and really loves baseball. Some of it is a very hard look at how these people were treated and how these ball players, the things that they lived through in order to play the great American pastime. And it's a fascinating piece about American history. Each of the 3 movements that represent the ball players are also written in the jazz styles from their eras. So there's a little swing, there's a little bebop, there's a little bit of experimental. So it's a mix of classical and jazz traditions. It's a mix of American history, and it's a mix of black and white. It's a black poet and a white composer, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to be able to bring this piece to Asheville. I conducted the world premiere in Pittsburgh, and actually we're trumping the Brooklyn Philharmonic. They haven't even had their chance to perform the piece yet. So we're actually only the 3rd orchestra in the world to ever perform Pastime. So Greg Baker, the great, I think it's a great thing. Greg Baker, the great American baritone, will sing the piece. He'll astound you. He's perhaps best known for his interpretations of Crown from touring productions of Porgy and Bess all over the world. He's built like a ball player. He's about 6'3", 6'4", and just an enormous presence and a wonderful voice. And I'm just thrilled to introduce this piece to Asheville and to the community. And I'm even more thrilled at what one piece of artwork has done for a community, to rally people around this idea of the Negro Baseball Leagues and celebrate our own heritage and take a hard look at our heritage. But ultimately, it's amazing. I visited Thank you, Hall Fletcher Elementary School this morning. And an entire classroom of fourth graders have written poems based on the Negro Leagues and imagined themselves what it was like to live in that era and to barnstorm all across the United States and live out of a bus and be rejected from restaurants and be rejected from hotels just because of the color of their skin. And it's a community of fourth graders that respect each other and love each other and support each other and are inquisitive and already know about this history that I had no clue about until I was much, much older. So it was an inspirational morning for me, and these kids are going to come to the concert on Saturday night, and hopefully it will launch something that I think will really take root. And I'm just excited to be a part of it all. So thank you all for all of your efforts and all the wonderful things that you've done so far. Looking forward to seeing you at Thomas Wolfe Auditorium. I'll also be here on Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock over at the Reuter Center, and anyone is invited to that. It's called Symphony Talk with Daniel Meyer, and you'll actually get a chance to meet Greg Baker, the baritone. You'll get a chance to meet Richard Danielpour and hear him speak about his own work. He's a wonderful speaker and has a lot of interesting tidbits about his own experience with baseball and with music. And then we'll talk a little bit about the music and about the program you'll hear on Saturday night at Thomas Wolfe Auditorium at 8 o'clock. So thank you all, and enjoy the rest of the week.
I hope to see some of you at the concert on Saturday night. As I said before, we've had a number of activities in the community, or we will have this coming week, to celebrate the Negro Baseball League. And Mr. Meyer mentioned the poetry contest. Students at Asheville High, Asheville Middle School, and Hall Fletcher participated in this contest, and we have some of the winners here today. And these are the winners from the School of Inquiry and Life Sciences at Asheville High School. We have the winners and the honorary mentions. Would you guys please stand? Wait, don't sit down. Don't sit down. Don't sit down, because as new poets, we may hear from you again. So we'd like to know your names. So starting right here.
Laquita Hudson.
Thank you.
Connell Sanderson.
Thank you.
Alicia Diaz.
Thank you.
Claire Sadat.
Thank you. We're very happy to have these students on our campus today. In your program, you'll see a list of other events throughout the community celebrating the leagues this week. And also in your program, you'll see a list of the organizations that collaborated to bring these programs and activities to us. And we want to give a special thank you to the people from the symphony and to the community organizations involved in this collaboration. Are there any members? I hope I do see. Fred, members of the committee, would you please stand? Thank you. Now, I have a little information that I just decided to tell you about. In your program, you will also find some information about Asheville ties to the Negro Baseball League. We printed this from the Citizen Times. But there's something in there that you don't know. You've heard mention of Pittsburgh Crawford several times in this program. And if you've noticed the display or the slideshow, somewhere in that slideshow you see this huge bus with this team. Those are the Pittsburgh Crawfords. The owner of the Pittsburgh Crawfords was Gus Greenlee, and he is a native, or was a native, of Marion, North Carolina, moved to Pittsburgh, became a very successful businessman, amassed quite a bit of money, and bought the Pittsburgh Crawfords. Well, at that time, the players could not use the city's, or in most cases, could not use the city's stadiums. Or if they could use the stadiums, they could not use the shower facilities. So Mr. Greenlee said, I'll build me a stadium. And so he built one of the first black-owned baseball stadiums for his team. And also, They traveled on buses, and because of problems with living and staying in motels in cities, they practically lived on their bus. So Mr. Greenlee said, my team will have a great bus. So he bought them a fantastic Mack bus. He was quite an interesting man. And the reason I told you all of that is because we have here among us now his grandnephew, Jesse Ray. I had the opportunity to talk with Jesse's mother about her experience in Pittsburgh, and it was just fascinating to hear about the Crawfords and the Pittsburgh Crawfords. She even let me borrow a hat, and I'm surprised he doesn't have a Pittsburgh Crawfords hat on. But the hat is on display in the library. In fact, if you come to the library, you'll find books about the Negro Baseball League and a display about the teams. Any questions? You can't? Thank you so much. And again, thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this program. And again, let's give it up to our readers.
Satchel Paige is mellow, so is Campanella, Newcomb and Dovey too. But it's a natural fact when Jackie comes to bat, the other team is through. Boy,
Did you see Jackie Robinson hit that ball? Did he hit it? Boy, and that ain't all. He stole home.
yes, yes, Jack is real gone. Jackie is a real gone guy.